C2 Wrestling.
What an episode, man. What a great episode. Monday Night Raw, week 2 on Netflix. Week 1, week 2. Hopefully, week 3 and 4 and so on. Hopefully, it only gets better from here. What a stacked show, top to bottom. Opening the show. Who else but our boy? CM Punk. I'm wearing the shirt as well. It just really it feels special what we're watching right now.
It is insane. The show was 2.5 hours, but it was basically 3 hours of content because there's less
Yeah.
commercials. Some matches, like no commercial breaks, like the Penta
Oh,
match.
beautiful. Loved it.
The show, I mean,
Flew by.
it flew by. That Punk segment feels like it was so long ago because
Yeah.
so much happened and
Yeah.
so much was good.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
No,
that was a beautiful start.
it was a beautiful start. And I mean, the biggest news we got out of that start, not one, not two, but three new competitors to the Royal Rumble. Five in total, right? Okay,
But no,
so
five new ones.
five new ones. Let's start from the bottom, right? We obviously got CM Punk, we got Roman, Seth, Drew, Punk. Who might
Uh,
forget real quick, obviously.
Jay and LA
Oh,
Knight.
Jay and LA Knight. Yeah, okay, yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's the Rumble. Like, I mean, there's not much more I could say.
I'm not great at math,
Yeah, yeah,
but 7 out of 30.
yeah.
That's a little under 1/4,
Mm-hmm.
over 1/5, under 1/4. A f- Around a fourth of the Rumble. Insane.
Insane. And now
And
you
and there's
gotta
still going to be bigger names added as well.
Yeah, there's going to be bigger names added as well. You got to assume other names that are on Monday Night Raw that we saw tonight are going to be in it, including Penta, the brand new Raw superstar. What a debut, man. What a debut.
If you haven't seen our reactions, both of our reactions are up. So please go and watch them. Breaking down from the entrance to the theme to the attire to the match to the promo, you name it. I said it in my reaction. I haven't watched yours yet.
Same, yep.
My brother texted me after
Uh-huh.
and happened to say the same thing as me. We often compare under the Vince era, under the Vince era, under the Vince era.
Yeah.
If Penta debuted under the Vince era, that match I don't think is any more than 4 minutes, and
Yep.
he absolutely squashes Chad Gable. You don't need a squash match in a
Yeah.
debut to establish a guy. If anything, this did more than him beating Gable in a 4 or 5 minute match could have ever done.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a fucking liar. You did watch my video because I say exactly that in my reaction video. To a T, pretty much.
Lied.
Yeah. It is exactly what we would have gotten under the Vince era. A 5 minute, Penta comes out, hits a Mexican destroyer, maybe a Hurricanrana, reverses this, pins Gable 1, 2, 3. But instead, we got a hell of a matchup, man. What a great match. I said it going into it. Listen, I don't think we're going to get the best match I've ever seen, but we're going to get one of the better debut matches we've ever seen. And it sure as hell was up there. And you said we were reviewing it from top to bottom. Again, go back and watch our reactions, but the entrance to the theme to the promo. And I mean, man, listen, I got to say, how was it the first time I've heard him on the mic?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
I'm
he's
sure
cut.
he's yeah. And listen, I watched Lucha Underground back in the day. I'm sure he cut some promos back then. I just am not remembering them. But I'm not trying to shit on AEW here, but I've never seen one AEW Penta promo, and that was great. That was
I
great.
will
He's
shit on
so
AEW
over.
saying this. How the fuck did they not sell those masks and like the present? I get it. We're not gonna compare the presentations because it's completely different
Yeah,
companies.
it's night and day.
But the mask slash merch, WWE is like they have like a less than 10% hit rate on their merch.
Yeah,
Like this is not a WWE is so great at merch. They sell a lot of merch, but a lot of it does not look great.
garbage.
This Penta merch, a guy who is so easy to make merch for,
Mhm.
I've already ordered the shirt.
Yeah, the shirts are fire. The mask is, man. If I was a kid, that'd be me ordering the mask right
Yeah.
now, like Shawn Michaels, like
Yeah.
hitting the
Like
laptop.
Matt Hardy's intro.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. It's incredible to see. I've seen people online complaining that they put the merch up before the show, but like they're playing into the idea that we are not brain dead fans. Like we're logical. Most of the fans that are watching know who Penta is, if we're being honest, and you can tell by the reaction of that crowd. I also seen people online already. Oh man, that stadium or the arena was filled, and that's only as loud as it was. What do you mean? Are we watching the same content here, guys? Let's be real for a minute. That was one of the better debuts we've gotten in a long time from a superstar I've especially been long awaiting to see in WWE. It was great, man. It was fantastic.
Yeah, go watch your fucking 12-man tag and instead of fucking more about it. Yeah, it's just you can tell by the profile pictures there was an agenda before they even watched it. No, I loved it.
Yes, yes.
I'm sure we both have pretty in-depth in our reactions, so I don't think we need to
Mm-hmm.
really fully break down that match and everything in itself. But it was awesome. Raw, it like every segment in my head as I'm going through it, it's like everything hit.
Everything hit. And there is one more thing I got to mention from the Penta Chad Gable match, which if you go back and watch my reaction, you'll hear me talk about a little bit more. But I just got to say, Canadian, American, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, that was the best destroyer cell we have ever seen. Chad Gable, what a guy.
Get him that United States Championship on SmackDown
Absolutely.
pronto.
Absolutely.
Uh, Raw, like we're gonna bounce around a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, every segment was pretty notable. Women's IC title tournament finals.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra wins. Crowd, you know, fully into it, into the entire show. They
Yeah.
were awesome.
Great crowd. Yeah.
Moment of the match. Lyra's about to hit that suplex on the apron, and I'm about to say out loud to myself, like, Gable and Penta just did some, Gable did a
Yeah.
German on the apron. Like, not saying it's the same thing, but it just doesn't hit the same. Then they land on the fucking mat on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Crazy spot. Tell you what spot I'm not taking.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, crazy spot. I got to give the credit to Lyra, and we here at C2 Wrestling. I don't dislike Dakota, but I was rooting for Lyra there. I wanted Lyra to win that belt. Dakota's great. Lyra's great. I need more from Dakota. I don't know. I feel like Dakota's just got a lot of this internet hype, if I'm being honest. And she is good, but it's just a bit much sometimes. I feel like I scroll through Twitter and I see people treat her like she's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it's a bit crazy, in my opinion. But it was a great match. That's what I wanted out of it. I wanted Dakota Kai to kind of showcase herself a little bit, put the title on Lyra, and now you can kind of go somewhere with Dakota. You can split her away from EO and so on and have her do her own thing. But we got women's mid card titles now. It's official.
Yeah, we have two champions. The Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble are 2 weeks away, so I'm sure pretty much everyone's focus will kind of shift towards that. Speaking of the Rumble, though, one thing we did mention, and this was another great segment, our boy Chuck It Gunther returns, cuts a fantastic promo. Jay interrupts. Awesome segment, but I do have to complain. It
Mm-hmm.
is in me to complain. And I always just demand the best for my world heavyweight champion, our world heavyweight champion.
Absolutely.
I don't get them announcing Jay Uso is entering the Rumble, and then the week before he's getting a world title shot.
Yeah. Hate that. That's where the logic in wrestling, which has been great lately, gets lost a little bit. Where why not just have him lose the match at Saturday Night's Main Event, and then the next week on Monday or Friday, Jey Uso's in the Rumble? Like, you didn't have to announce it quite yet that he's going to be in there. Gunther, Jay, Saturday Night's Main Event. Sure. I mean, Jay was on the poster, so you already expect him to be on the card. That's the greatest capacity they can really put him in. It's a bit filler because we did already get this. We've already had this. I've been on the idea that I'm not too big on them shoehorning in this Saturday Night's Main Event. It just doesn't feel like they have an established card going into it right now. We'll get some stuff in the next coming days, I'm sure, but I'm starting to believe I was correct in predicting that they're shoehorning this in here.
Yeah, and the matches will be good themselves
Yeah,
because also announced Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship.
fantastic.
Again, we know it's going to be a great match, but fair is fair. Quick to little build. Uh, the show's just really lacking. At least we got a Gunther promo. It has severely lacked Braun Breaker. I mean,
Yeah.
I think in the last month, I know there's been some tape shows, but in the last month, we've just had Braun Breaker sitting in the crowd twice. Like
Yeah.
he has barely been on, barely showcased. He is the Intercontinental Champion, and we've had this happen before, and the match will be great. And I don't expect Sheamus to get his first IC title win here. Maybe this is something Sheamus fails again and, you know, gets his chance again and they rematch at Mania, and that's the Mania match, and Sheamus finally finishes it. I love that. That sounds great. This just feels like it could have been set up just a little bit better.
I do agree. I think Braun Breaker is somebody you put on TV if you got him. And he was on TV today, obviously, but it's not to the extent that he should be or should have been over these last few weeks. I feel like you had the Raw Tag titles not getting on TV a lot. And then they get the Raw Tag titles on TV, but now we're not really getting the men's IC title on. And, now they got a whole new women's mid card title to squeeze in there, too. So it's a bit more time restrictive. Braun Breaker was there, but like, why not have had him on commentary tonight during the match with Sheamus and Ludwig sitting there with his belt? Just adds a little bit more to it. He's around, he's kind of there. He was almost forgotten about to a point. I went into that Sheamus Ludwig match knowing like Braun Breaker was probably like a route for whoever wins this match, but he didn't even come to mind until he showed up because he's an afterthought right now, and it's unfortunate. I'm okay with it though. It's all right. I feel like I'm kind of shitting on a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal. We're kind of getting him around. He's going to be defending the title at Saturday night's main event. Hopefully in the Rumble, should be in the Rumble. I think he's the kind of guy that, being that Bronson Reed's out, you give him the spot you were going to give Bronson Reed in the Rumble, and you let Braun Breaker go to town.
Yeah, this also, to be fair, it's like almost a little bit of a weird time frame for all of WWE with the big Netflix show
Mm-hmm.
only having 4 matches, kind of treating it like a Mania, but it's so like marquee that you don't have a ton of matches. Then this week, kind of like the end of stories that have been going on. You finally finish the Priest Balor story. You finish the women's IC title tournament. Like the new stories are kind of starting, and it's all right before the Rumble as well. So it's going to be full blown, right after the Rumble, after Saturday night's main event, after the Rumble. All the stories will really start developing. I'm sure we'll get more TV time. Like there was no New Day segment this week. They're going to have plenty of time. Loved the amount of time tonight's show went. I'm not worried about it long term. It's just something we're fair.
Mm-hmm.
We call it as we see it, and that's something that we have to point out.
Yeah, absolutely. It still is overall, again, such an experience to watch Raw wrestling right now in general. It just feels special top to bottom. The show really does. It's not even the full show. Again, you briefly just kind of mentioned we had another street fight tonight. Great match. Ended, hopefully, the Damian Priest Finn Balor feud onto different things now. What a table spot that was. That's a street fight. That's what we used to get back in the day in those early, Vince era, the early Vince regime. We haven't gotten matches like that on TV in a while. And it's just refreshing. It really is refreshing to see.
Yeah, and it's it from top to bottom when the shows also deliver.
Yeah.
It's more so, it's refreshing, but it's enjoyable. We were texting each other. I mean, I'm watching the show and I'm like, yeah, I got to order something off WWE shop. I'm gonna order the Penta shirt, but I was like, I need something. It's tonight was the type of show that you're watching and you're like, I just love this shit.
Yeah,
I love this shit.
This is why I love this shit. Yeah, there's been times, I should say, where you really go, wow, I'm watching this,
Yeah.
But then there's times where I really think, how is everyone not watching this? This is the best thing on TV right now. And we got people doing nothing. How are you not tuned in to Monday Night Raw, to WWE? How are you not tuned in to C2 Wrestling?
Exactly. So the main event, which I'm sure we're forgetting something from the show, but look, we're pumping out videos every single day, and I'm sure it's something we'll get around to.
Yell at us in the comments for it.
Yeah. The main event, great match.
Yes.
Loved when it was starting. I was like, I know this ain't going 50 minutes, so this is going to end at any time. We have beaten this dead horse, but I'm going to throw a few more baseball bat swings at it. The fact that they're on Netflix and the show can end at any time. You know, every wrestling fan can kind of tell when the end is near. Tonight
Correct.
you could tell when the match was about to end.
Yeah.
But those false finishes and stuff, you're having a
Hmm.
big title match, whatever, and it's 10:34. Who knows if the match is about to end or not? Who knows if they have
Yeah.
10 more minutes? Who knows if they have 2 more minutes?
It,
Love it.
it could get an extra 30 more minutes. It
Yeah,
really could. Like we never know where it's going to go. They could break 30 minutes. They could break 11 o'clock. We really just never know. And it adds to the lore of what we're watching. It really is, again, top to bottom, everything right now feels special. Them being on Netflix, it makes it feel special. Small. No more Fortnite logo. Thank God. That's a great one. I forgot to mention. I wanted to mention that like the top of the show, but
yeah.
I forgot to mention that one. I will say it looks a little bare without the
I
center
thought it looked
logo.
so much better. I thought it looked so much
No,
better.
I agree. It does look better, but like it almost looks like something's missing because it was there the one week. Like I don't know. It's weird for me
I
to look
get you.
at, but it is better. The look and feel of the show, the intro to the show tonight, the main event, the timing of everything. Again, let's show top to bottom flew by smoothly. It was a great show. We got great stuff coming up too. It's not stopping here.
I think Raw on the road to Mania, you're going to get those 11:05, 11:10s
Yeah.
because what we saw tonight is a much better idea on what Raw will be compared to last week. Last week was, not for the casuals, but they knew the casuals were watching.
Yeah.
This week, like you got a good grasp of how the show will kind of flow going forward. Some matches, no commercial breaks,
Mm-hmm.
much shorter commercials, you know, quicker on things. When it gets to like Mania hype, none of those promos, they're not going to cut any of them short. You know, if they're on UFC or something and Penta's cutting that promo, who knows if he even has that promo?
Yeah.
They're probably giving him the rap signal because that was a pretty long segment
It
from his
was.
whole match to the promo. I think Mania build, that's when you're going to get some lengthy Raws because nothing's going to get cut short. Let the promos have time, let the matches have time, everything. And I'll be watching, I'll be loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people behind the scenes know what they're doing. And with this expansion of the time they have now, they can stop whenever, end whenever. If it fits the show, it's going to go in the show. If it doesn't, it's not. If it doesn't work well, if it's not a great segment, it's not going to make it on TV. If it is, it is. They could have squeezed in a New Day match tonight. They could have, or a segment or anything, but maybe they just didn't have something that fit the flow of the show. Maybe they didn't have something that felt worthy enough. There's reasoning to it all. It also makes you want to tune in next week because now I gotta see the New Day. I didn't see them tonight. They gotta show up next week. They aired it. I'll be tuned in to watch what they do.
Yeah, McIntyre versus Rollins next week.
Correct.
Showed all those things on beautiful moving graphics. Those
So
graphics,
nice. So
they might be
nice.
the best thing to come out of this Netflix deal. Like it is,
Yeah.
it is that damn good. On the main event though, to wrap up here, obviously fun match. I expected it to be good. It was good. The broken arrow was awesome. I think a piece of me, I'm glad this story seems to be done. I did not know it was 3-3. It felt like Priest was up 5-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think a piece of me starting to lean towards we're getting Balor versus Dom at Mania or some sort of combination of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we might be leaning towards a eventual Dom face turn. Honestly, I think that might be coming soon. I want Priest on SmackDown. Put him on SmackDown. Get him away. Balor, Dom, Liv, Judgment Day. They had the whole segment of Dom coming with roses and everything. And I'm not sure where they're going, but it does seem like they're leading that way. Balor versus Dom. I don't know. Maybe it's for something, for the Judgment Day or whatever. I don't know. I still think they're missing the mark if they don't run Dom versus Rhea Ripley. Yeah, Rhea Ripley, good God, at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think they're past it too. I think like
Yeah, unfortunately,
I
yeah.
think the sell on that was Rhea hitting the Riptide on Dom, and that
Yes,
was
yeah.
kind of the stamp of it. Um, but yeah, I left tonight thinking that's even more towards it. I mean, they've been teasing it like crazy, the issues between Liv and Balor, and who knows, maybe it leads to Liv turning on Dom,
Mm.
and that's Dom's face turn. I don't know. Dom's getting more cheers, but he's so good as a heel that it's like,
How do you turn him face?
yeah, how do you turn him face? But who knows? Again, there's so many stories. I am hook, line, and sinker on all of them. The Rumble will tell a lot. I know not every single match for Mania is going to be made from the Rumble based on
Mm,
eliminations, but I truly could see Balor and Dom in the Rumble, and it's, maybe it's not Dom eliminates Balor or something. Maybe it's Dom messes up in his helping of Balor or stops
yep.
helping Balor, and that gets Balor eliminated, and that further prolongs their issues and leads to the Mania match. I don't know exactly how they go about it, but I think that's the route.
Yeah, I can definitely see something like that. Dom gets distracted in the ring, Liv distracts him or something, takes his attention off of Finn. Finn gets eliminated, and that causes some sort of rift. It is about time we move on from the Judgment Day. It is about time we kind of put an end to that stable. And I think Mania 41 is the focal point for that. Past Mania 41, I don't need Judgment Day. I don't need it at all. JD and Finn can still be like a duo of sorts, sure, they're allies, but they can break up the whole stable, everybody on their separate ways at that point. It just is interesting to see a Dom face turn. Maybe Balor goes face. Who knows where they're going? Priest going to SmackDown alone. He's getting a whole new world now. A lot of opportunities.
I would love Priest on SmackDown, and I before we wrap up, I do like how they're slowly confirming some of these transfers. I would like
Yes.
them to
Yes.
give us an end date.
Yeah.
Wyatt six confirmed to be going to
Uh-huh.
SmackDown. I would love Priest to then be confirmed going to SmackDown as well.
Yeah. I do also love that they're slowly giving us these answers to the transfer window when people are going over to which brand. I also wish they would give us the answer to when the transfer window ends.
Yeah. I can give you an answer though to when this video ends, and that's right now.
Follow, like, subscribe.
Turn on notifications. Comment down below what you thought of Raw, the Penta debut, what you think going forward. Snowden, CTD.
C2 Wrestling, baby.